evening, everybody. Uneducated economist here. So Trump doesn't like Bitcoin. He says it facilitates criminal behavior. Well, you know what really facilitates criminal behavior is the US dollar. Anyway, if you haven't been able to wrap your head around what Bitcoin is, like what is Bitcoin? Is it something that you can hold? What is it, right? So I'm going to give you the uneducated version of what I feel that a Bitcoin is, or the best way that I feel that I can explain what a Bitcoin is. There we go. So if you could imagine a ledger, like you got a book, it's full of transactions, and everybody around the world, not everybody, but all around the world, people have this same ledger, right? And when you open up that book and you make a transaction, everybody's ledger around the world updates at the same time. That's it. That's Bitcoin. That's Bitcoin in its entirety. Okay? That's all it is. Now, how that happens, that gets a little more complicated. Now, I'm not a computer savvy kind of guy. I don't really understand how computer code works, and so I really couldn't tell you how this whole process goes down as far as the mining and the producing of the Bitcoins and stuff like that. But I can tell you how the transaction goes down. So, in order to transact with the Bitcoin network, with this blockchain, okay, what ends up happening is that you have to have a wallet. And this wallet is a Bitcoin wallet. And in that wallet is Bitcoin. Now, you have to have the Bitcoin in order to do the transaction. If you don't have the Bitcoin, you either have to buy it, mine it, or somehow give somebody to give it to you. But once you have the Bitcoin, now you can use the Bitcoin network. All right. What is the network? When you do a transaction and you have a wallet with Bitcoin in it, and you punch in a transaction, you want to trade, 1 Bitcoin with your buddy, all right? When you put that transaction in, what ends up happening is that miners will grab that transaction. Now, a miner isn't somebody who has tools and shovels and picks and digging in the dirt. That's not what mining's about. Mining is computers, and it's a bunch of computers that are working incredibly hard to solve a mathematical problem. The first one to solve the mathematical problem wins the ability to update the ledger, which is known as blockchain, and get rewarded with Bitcoin for it. Okay, so when you do a transaction, the transaction goes to the miners solve a problem, and they get to update the blockchain, which is the ledger. Okay, so they put this transaction, boom, everybody gets a copy of it, and the whole process starts over again. Okay? So that's ultimately what Bitcoin is. It's just this ledger. It's a distributed ledger. Now, the neat thing about it is that it's open source. So that means people who understand code can go and look at it. They can read it. They can say, hey, I understand this thing, and I'm actually going to change it around a little bit, and I'm going to make my own coin. And it can be just like Bitcoin, because it's an open source program. And so there's thousands and thousands of these cryptocurrencies out there. And a lot of them have some really neat projects in mind. Like they're gearing the cryptocurrency to have a particular aspect to it. Okay, for example, there's one called Basic Attention Token. And this one's going to reward you for your attention on a particular website or looking at ads or something like that. And they're going to reward you with cryptocurrency, so to speak, okay? And so there's a lot of different projects that these cryptocurrencies are trying to fill the needs of when it comes to commerce. But what makes Bitcoin special? Okay, because since there's so many of these distributed ledgers out there with all these different cryptocurrencies, and a lot of them are just scams, because since anybody can just make a cryptocurrency and say, hey, mine's the next, best cryptocurrency out there, all you have to do is convince somebody to give you money for it. But what makes Bitcoin special? Well, it comes down to security. Okay? Because, see, they know how to hack a Bitcoin. It would take 51%. If you can take over 51% of those miners, you can ultimately change the ledger. But you have to take over a lot of computers. A lot of them. And the bigger the network grows, the harder it's going to be. And since now Bitcoin takes about takes an insane amount. I couldn't even tell you how much electricity it takes, but it takes so they say it takes about as much electricity as some nations, right? Now, I couldn't tell you which ones, but anyway, it takes a lot of electricity. And so in order to come up with this 51% attack where you can get all those miners, you're talking a very, very expensive attempt. And you don't even know if you can be able to do it. Kids playing. So anyway, that's why Bitcoin stands out amongst the rest of them, is because of this security aspect of it. It's because it is like having gold when you have Bitcoin. And the bigger the network grows, the more secure it becomes. So now, what's great about this cryptocurrency? What do I like about it? Well, I like the fact that I've used it a few times, and I love the experience that I have when you use cryptocurrencies. Hey, buddy, I owe you $20. Let me see bust out your QR code, right? Up comes that squiggly little box thing with all the little dots and whatnot. Flash a picture of it, hit yes, bang, transaction done. It's easier than pulling out your wallet and handing over a $20 bill. I kid you not. You can transact with people in foreign lands. You can transact with anybody, and nobody's going to tell you can or can't. That's awesome. That ability is fabulous. And when people say, well, I can do that now, not like this you can. So you have to have somebody's permission. What if you want to do it on a Sunday? So cryptocurrencies are not going away. The innovations that are coming with them are growing tremendously. I cannot wait to see when they grow exponentially. When you finally, it's kind of interesting. You're going to be getting to the point soon where you're going to be dealing with blockchain technology and not even realize you're doing it. Right? You're not going to realize that the transactions that you're involved with are blockchain based. It's happening now. You want to see something really interesting? Look at IBM and Hyperledger. And look at what they're doing. Look at the Mobility Open Blockchain Initiative. Look what these guys are doing. You think this stuff is going away? You want to see something really neat? Look what Charlie Lee with Litecoin and the Lightning Network. Look what those guys are doing. Very interesting stuff here, guys. And it's becoming mainstream. Like the other day, I see the Miami Dolphins have taken on Litecoin as their official cryptocurrency. You see it on the mat at the UFC fights. Cryptocurrencies are happening. If I was Trump, I would hate him too. Uneducated economist. You guys let me know.